It's no wonder this place needs security. Look at the place. This is actually a piece of artwork, believe it or not. It's really scary. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, welcome to effectively one of the more secret Ferrari collections in all of Dubai. You'd be forgiven for thinking that this is a dealership, but actually this is someone's private collection of Ferraris. It's split into two parts. In a minute we'll take you through to the other side, because that's the public facing side where you can go and grab a coffee, get a snack and look at some more Porsches. But on this side it's predominantly Ferrari. Now there's 512 BBs and then there's this. This is based on the 512 BB, the Berlinetta Boxster, which is a flat 12. So it's still a 12 cylinder, but this is a Koenig edition. So back in the 80s, there was a fine chap called Willy Koenig who was somewhat of the mastermind or at the pinnacle end of tuning. And there was a very few amounts of these cars made. It's effectively an augmented 512. Most specifically tell them by the aero styling. I mean, look at that. How is that for an 80s flick? It's so cool. The owner of this car tells me that this particular model, that there was only 5 of them. It is known that 2 of them have crashed, so that there's only 3 of this particular one in existence. And that, considering that we've only a couple of minutes into this, hopefully sets a spot of context for the rest of this lineup. This was bought in an auction in Germany. It's from the 1950s. It's quite abstract because there is an exhaust exiting the side of the horse. Anyway, super cool. We've got here a Ferrari Opus, a celebratory book commissioned by Ferrari to document the majority of the history of this incredible brand. But the significance of it is the bookcase, as you would call it, is effectively housing the book inside a Ferrari engine and engine covers. How cool is that? It's heavy. Decent. Everything in here is special, is limited, none less than this 550 Barchetta. 448, I think, of these were made. It was originally designed to celebrate the Barchetta stylist. Awesome to actually see one. Super, super rare. Manual, V12, awesome. So we also have a real Michael Schumacher F1 car. This is from 2003, and a race-worn Michael Schumacher race suit there, which in itself, just think about that a minute. Race-worn Schumacher race suit. Very cool indeed. 599 GTO. The size of these things, every time I see one, I forget how big they actually are. I always felt when they evolved to the F12, for some reason, they managed to become a little bit more streamlined. But anyway, so conveniently parked behind the GTO is the 599 SA Aperta. Aperta meaning the roof comes off. Super rare because they only made 80 of these worldwide. So to even see one is a privilege, let alone have it parked behind the 599 GTO, which it's kind of based on. And then let's just transition straight onto it. The Laferrari, for me, it just ages better and better every time I see it. Now, because Dubai is Dubai, I've been fortunate enough to see a few of these out here over the last few days. They just get better looking every time I see them. Okay, all Speciale Apertas are of course special, but this one was originally commissioned by Ferrari for Niki Lauda himself. Story goes, he then left and signed with Mercedes, and that's why you always saw him in the Mercedes F1 pits, and so he never actually ended up taking delivery of his Aperta. Turns out, this guy did instead. Scuderia 16M, obviously based on the 430 Scuderia. The significance of the 16M is that it was built to celebrate 16 manufacturer championships, and it's based on, for me, one of the best single clutch gearboxes. Now, if you follow the channel regularly, I'm not necessarily a big fan of a single clutch, but to this day, whatever they did with the Scuderia, they made the gearbox so incredibly punchy at full chat that it just seemed to add to the drama of it rather than detract from it, which some single clutches have a sloppy habit of doing sometimes. So yeah, this is a super special car, and they only made 499 of them. Okay, so this whole place, as you can see, is full of Ferrari artwork. By pure coincidence, as we were filming this, this arrived. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this is just a pista covered in lines to make it look like a piece of art. However, what this originally was is an official piece of R&D hardware from the Ferrari factory in Maranello to help understand the airflow over the 488 Pista. And since that program has come to an end, they were left with these items, and the owner of this collection has acquired it for this remarkable cave of Ferraris. It's so cool, and literally as we were here, it turned up. So it's fresh out of the box, amazing to see it, and in terms of an addition to this incredible space, very special indeed. Speaking of special, you'd be forgiven for thinking from the outset that this is a Tdf Blue 812 GTS, but this is actually a one of 5 812 GTS. It's an Ispirazione car, as indicated by this carbon plaque here, right here, tailor-made. And if you get really close up on the leather, it's a special leather. It's got a really nice grain to it. It's got this contrasting stripe, which actually complements with the stripe on the lower section of the car down here. Silver, copper, all matte carbon. These were strictly invite only. As I mentioned, 5 of them. I never thought I'd say this, but while everything down there is incredibly special, arguably up here might just be the most special space of all. You see, what the owner of this remarkable facility has done has recreated Enzo's office exactly in his private cave. So I remember visiting the Ferrari factory. I've been really fortunate in this line of work to be there a few times, and Enzo's office is preserved behind glass as it was. And it looks exactly like this, down to the accessories, down to the pens, the family photos, even the chair and the desk. Now, it's not the exact desk, but it's pretty authentic. You know what I'm going to do now, don't you? Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Rally of Monte Carlo 1999 plaque. Chopard pen. Yeah. Just stunning. What a space. Honestly, I've never seen anything quite like this. I've been to some phenomenal collections, but the attention to detail of this particular space, it's just a different ballgame. Well done, sir. Okay, I've signed some things in the past. I've had some real honors to sign all sorts of stuff. I've had people ask me to sign cars, iPads, all sorts of things. Sharaf here is asking me to sign him permanently as a tattoo, which blows my mind. So the idea is I'm going to sign it on this piece of paper, and then so down here you've got
Mike Shinoda
from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Can I sit next to Mike, or are you going to put it somewhere else?
I will check later.
Check later.
The arm is
the arm here
arm.
next to the car, huh?
This is my first car.
First car.
Yeah.
Let's go next to the car. That makes sense. All right. Are you ready? Pleasure, man. Send me a photo of that. When you're done, I want to see a photo of that, and we will put it up on our channel and make sure to share it, because that blows my mind, man.
Amazing.
That really means a lot.
Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, dude. All right, seamless transition. We're now in the other building, which has more Porsches in it. Granted, there are still plenty of Ferraris, but do you remember at the beginning, I was telling you there was a cafe where you could go and hang out, have some phenomenal coffee, and also experience the art gallery here. All of the art in here is also for sale. So I'm going to put the Instagram link below to the venue, where there is also their address. If you're ever in Dubai, come down, check the place out. Coffee, art, cars, won the cave. As always, thanks so much for watching. We shall see you next time. Ciao.